Can you see me, right? Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, let me share my screen in a moment. Okay. Oh, Keynote is using all my screens. Not sure why, but okay, we start anyway. If you have questions, I will need to change tabs because screen, I don't know why it's using all my tabs, but okay. I will start. I hope you are there. Then let's do it. Okay, guys, I'm Felipe Nevola. I'm going to talk today about Meteor today and tomorrow. Okay, let's get started. What's Meteor today and like how is it going to be tomorrow? I think that's a valid question that you have, right? Let's start by today. Today, the way that I see Meteor is a framework or a platform that's mature and it's business ready. And I will try to show you why I think that's the state today. First, we have Pathbo. Like I'm starting a few companies here that I know they're doing really well with Meteor. Pathbo is from the event industry. And by the way, thank you, Pathbo, for being sponsored this event. And they had a huge growth during COVID. And with Meteor and Galaxy, they were able to scale very quickly. And by the way, Pathbo was just acquired this month. Then it's the marketing seeing the result of this work. We also have Qualia. Qualia is an app, like an application to solve the real estate closing problem. Then they help a lot of the companies, and I know they are using Blaze, and they are pretty happy with Blaze. And they also last year they raised a lot of money, and then they are doing really, really well. We also have inside Sherpa that now it's called Forage, and they are in the industry of hiring. Like it's pretty cool idea where they train people. The company will train the people before they hire the people, and then you can just create a program there, and later you can hire these guys. And it's a very cool idea. And they just received a Series A investment as well. And they even rebranded to Forage, and the previous name was Inside Sherpa. We also have another company in this code hiring field, and they are Code Signal. They're using Galaxy for a long time, and they are like top 3 in the SaaS list that was released in last August. And they also had very good position in this business of skill screening. And in June, they are like the leader of this category. And then they are really doing well with Meteor as well. We also have another one from the learning industry. That's the BOOMLEARNING or Boom Cards. And they just grew like 30 times in the weekly revenue during COVID. And by the way, Eric is the guy that's running the company, and he's great. And they are also hiring. And then this company just grew like a lot, and they are using Galaxy. And with Galaxy, they're able to go from like 7 containers to 50 containers in a matter of like days and hours, because Galaxy has this auto scaling and all the other things that you know about it. And last but not least, we also have another Meteor application here. That's Galaxy, that's doing really well. Like Galaxy offer like cloud solutions, as you probably know. You can have support from experts like me, Renan, Denilson. And you can also know that Galaxy is growing. Like, by the way, this month, it's probably going to be the best Galaxy month ever. And I'm not just after the acquisition, like in the history. Then Meteor is really still strong, and Galaxy is still very strong and growing. But maybe you're worried like, oh, but Galaxy is a Meteor app? I didn't know that. Then let's see a little bit what you have on Galaxy. Then Galaxy, yes, Galaxy is a Meteor app, and Galaxy is actually 3 Meteor apps. Then you have a dashboard, you have the billing, and you have the API. This is all Meteor apps. Actually, they are the same source code, but they can run with different parts enabled and disabled. And that's why they are 3 apps. And like the API that we have in GraphQL is one of these apps. And you can use this API to do basically everything that you can do in the UI. And this is pretty cool because we are developers. Then we also want that our hosting tool, our cloud solution, supports changes using the API and not just the UI. Galaxy is also about Go. Like we also use Go language to create some services that interact with AWS. Then we have like the aggregator. For the metrics, you have certificates that are generated for you for free using Let's Encrypt. We have a collector, we have measure builder, we have the logs that you can see, and they are collected also using a Go service. We have our custom proxy layer. That's something that's pretty cool because you have a proxy in our hands that you can do whatever you want with this request, and you have a lot of optimizations for WebSockets, for example, that are very popular in Meteor applications. And we also have the scheduler, that is the component that's scale up and down your application. And we run all the servers and all the services and all these app servers on AWS. Then you have EC2 servers, you have ECS clusters, and then you have Dockers with your app image, and you have our custom registry for these images. And you also have Terraform to coordinate all these chains and to keep our clusters up to date with all the settings that you have. And this is pretty good, and it's been running for like many years without any major issue or downtime. And if you are wondering like how can you use Galaxy, and Galaxy you can use just deploying your app, and you don't need even to buy a domain. You can just use meteorapp.com for free as a subdomain for your apps, and the price starts at $9. But before I proceed, and I know I'm going very fast, but that's by purpose because I have a lot of slides and a lot of things to talk to. But then I'm going to ask you a question. And first, like the interest fact, sorry, like Galaxy itself runs on Galaxy. And then like it's like an exception, like Ian said in the other chat. But if you think about that, I have just a fun question. How is the first deploy done? Because you need to think when you deploy your app, Galaxy is deploying your app. But if Galaxy is deployed and it's going to deploy Galaxy itself, how this is going to happen? Then we have the poll here on Puffball platform that you can select an answer. And then later in the end, we will see together if you are right or wrong. But I have three options. Like we need to do something manually to put some files in some special place. You need to deploy from a different region. I don't know if you know, but you have Galaxy on US, on Asia, and also on Europe. Or we just have a special Go service. As I said, we have many Go services that can deploy a Galaxy from scratch. Then that's just an interesting fact that you can think about it, and you can reply in the polls on Puffball platform. Then let's take a deep breath, because Ia said that he was like anxious for the announcement. And here's the first one. The free deploys on Galaxy are coming back. And yeah, I know you're probably excited about it, because that was the Meteor when I started. I could just create my app and I could just like hit Meteor deploy, and it was live for free. And this is coming back. And we have also MongoDB included in this free deploy. Then you don't need to do any configuration. Basically, the way it is going to work, and you can see the pull request that we already have in the Meteor, you're going to do like --free and --MongoDB, and everything will be ready for you in a few minutes or even seconds, depending the upload of your app. Then that's very good. That's, of course, the idea is not to have a free deploy for production apps with a lot of access, and we are going to have some limitations that we are going to publish later, but it will be perfect for hobby projects, for demos, for proof of concepts, package showcase. I think right now we miss a lot because we don't have a free way to see what the packages are doing. And then with this that's coming pretty soon, we are going to see the packages. Then you should celebrate this because it's a very good news. As a Meteor user that I am, I'm pretty happy about the free deploy coming back. I remember like on Saturday, like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I was trying to play a game and I didn't have this game. It was a card game. And then I just stopped everything that I was doing and I just started this game like in the morning. And after lunch, I was playing with my friends and my family this game, and it was free because I just deployed to the free deploy of Meteor from 5 years ago. And then this is pretty cool, and you can do this again pretty soon. And I think you should be like excited about it. And I hope this is going to bring more people to use Meteor, because then you can see the whole process and you can use Meteor. You can try without spending money. And just to remember, like Galaxy is pretty affordable. Like you have plans that start with $9, but free, of course, is better than $9. And also MongoDB will be included. Let me see if everything is going well. Okay. Okay. I'm just checking the chat here because I don't want to be talking alone. Yeah, everything is going well. I don't know why Keynote is just using 3 screens and then I can't see anything else. Okay, let's proceed. Then free deploy is back. I think that's one really cool announcement. But let's go back to what I was doing. I was just showing you apps that are doing really well with Meteor. And I would like to show you one app that's not doing really well for now because it's a very new app. It was just launched last month and it's called ArcLive. It's for architects to share with the client what they're doing. If you can understand this text because it's in Portuguese, but that's the way we are announcing this project in Brazil. And if you are wondering like, but who is creating this project? Like I am creating this project with my friends. And then I would like to introduce myself in a better way. Like I'm doing ArcLive and I'm also doing BMark. That's another project with Meteor. And previously I was a Java architect for more than 10 years. I was a successful Java architect, but I was not pretty much happy anymore with Java. And I would like to change to use like something like JavaScript. And like 7 years ago, I discovered Meteor and I started to build apps with Meteor. And since 2013, I'm building apps for production with Meteor. I created a social network for people that want to be soccer players, like Brazil, you know, we love soccer. Then you have a lot of kids that want to be soccer players. We had a lot of users. And then another app to sell tickets for events, and another one, and many internal apps for my previous company. And it was pretty cool. The experience was really good. Then I decided that I would like to be full-time a Meteor developer. And then I joined Pathball, and Pathball, this platform, I also helped to build this platform. And in the end of last year, Meteor was sold to Tiny. And then I also joined Tiny to help doing this, like to talk about Meteor and to show what I'm doing with Meteor and to try to promote Meteor, to create new packages. And that's one of my roles in the Tiny. And I'm also, as I said, I'm founder of ArcLive. That's this project that I just showed you, and also BMark. And for me, Meteor is about this. Like Meteor is not about like some just prototypes or proof of concepts. I know Meteor is great to do this, but for me, Meteor is more than that. Meteor is really about real apps, real users, and real results. And that's what I am most excited about Meteor, because I am not like a really tech guy that I just love to code for hours. No, I just love to code for hours if I'm solving a real problem. And I really believe for most of the problems that we have, like Meteor is the best tool to solve this problem. But then I'm talking a lot here, but I'm not showing any code. And this is a talk about a framework. Then maybe you want to look inside of these apps that I said that I'm creating. And I choose one to try to show to you because it's using a lot of features of Meteor. And then I can display to you and you can see how powerful Meteor is today. Remember, we are still in the today part. Later, I will talk about tomorrow. Then here we go. Like, what is BMark? Just for you to have an understanding what the features that I'm going to talk about. BMark is a marketplace where you can sell your local products. What I mean by that, you can like have some food, like Subway is our client here. Like you can have Subway selling the sandwich using BMark, or you can even have like a jewelry or anything that is physical that will be delivered in the same city, you can sell using BMark. We also have a CRM. We also have campaigns where you can send messages to people, push SMS. We also have a network of influencers that can promote and make money inside our platform. And we also have APIs for many different purposes, like ERP integrations and also printer integrations in the restaurants. And that's what BMark is. And now I'm going to show you a little bit of the backstage of BMark, like how we are doing this. And of course, we are doing this with Meteor. And then first we start, like we're using React Router, Material UI, and CSS Flexbox, pretty standard setup for the web. And I don't have too much to add here. But then in the data layer, you have MongoDB, like it's the default choice of Meteor. And you can change if you don't want, but I'm going to show you a little bit of the packages that we are using. And these packages are all public. They are not private packages that you can download it and use as well. Like the first one that I would like to show you is that you can create a collection just with one line without classes. Like you don't need to use new, or you don't need to use inheritance, because I am not a fan of classes in JavaScript. And then you can just give a name, and you can add custom methods to this collection. And it's like, you probably are doing this in some different way, or using mixing, or try to do some crazy stuff. But here you can do this in a more, like, I would say, functional way. And I'm going to show more examples, but that's one package that we are using a lot in BMark. And we also have schema integrated in this create collection function. And then you can also use this package to integrate with your schema. You don't need to worry about like where this schema is going to be registered. It's going to work, it's not going to work. It's attached, it's not attached. The create collection is going to do this work for you. And you can also, as I said, compose your collection in a more functional way, instead of using mixins or classes. And then you can use, like, for example, this paginable is just an example. It's a little bit long, the code, but the idea is that you can just have your collection and you can attach composers, as you can see here. And then you can use this in many collections, and you can get the data from your GraphQL or from your methods or from your REST. And that's a pretty cool way to extend your collections without like having the problems that you have usually with inheritance. We also have the hooks that you can use. And the important aspect of this package is that we are not reinventing the wheel, because we know that everything that I showed you, there is already another package that does that. Then we are just integrating these packages in the same package. And then we are using like the other packages to provide these features to you, but then you don't need to worry about the other packages. Then that's very cool. And you can have this apply function in the end here that you can apply whatever you want, even the hooks. And also one good feature about this, and I have created a lot of projects with Meteor already, and that's a common issue, is that Meteor users, this special collection that is instantiated by Meteor and not by you, is also compatible with create collection. Then you just provide your Meteor users collection, and then you can use all the same features. Because I know in a lot of projects, this is a problem. You need to customize just because the users collections is a different kind of collection because you don't create it. And going ahead in these layers that we have on BMark for you to understand how Meteor is capable of doing things today, we also have GraphQL. Then you can also use a package, and just with one line, you can start your GraphQL server. Of course, you need to have your type definitions and your resolvers, and you can do the same for the client. Again, one line and it's working and it's ready. And if you're not a Meteor user and you're looking to this code and think, oh, that's a lie, I need to set up a lot of stuff. No, you don't. You just create your app. If you copy these lines, you're going to be ready to run. And by the way, these codes that are white, the background, I just remove it from the README from the package. Then if you go to the package, you're going to see exactly the same code there, and you can copy and paste and start using it. I also use a lot this utility here because I'm using GraphQL as the main source of data on BMark, but I'm also using methods when I don't need, or when I don't care about the Apollo cache. And then I have this utility just to wrap the method call in a promise, and then I can use anywhere just as any other promise in the system. Then I don't need to worry about the error and the callback or whatever. And then it's very helpful, and you're going to see the usage later. Another thing about data is that we have some standard way to get the data using Apollo cache and also using the skeleton and benefiting from the DDP. And this is very fast because we are using GraphQL using DDP. I will talk more about this in a moment. And then with this use skeleton with cache, that is a React hook, then you can do code like this. And very easily you can get your data. And then if you see like this paginated data, it's using the composer that I showed before. Then I have the pagination, I have these elements, I just need to select the fields basically to have in my view. And then I also have these utilities provided by the other function where I can show the skeleton on BMark. When you load a page, you don't see like a blank page, you see the skeleton with the components in the proper place. And then when the show skeleton is false, you can render the data, or you can show there is no data. But you don't need to create like some functions to check the size, to check if it's loading. It's always available to you, these two booleans, like if it's no data and if you should show the skeleton, then you don't need to think about it. You just use it, these two properties. And as I said, we are using GraphQL with DDP, and it's not just because the DDP is there. It's because DDP has a unique feature, in my opinion, it's using the eJSON. eJSON is a package from Meteor. It's like a smart layer inside, on top of the JSON. And then you can have custom types, and you just need to teach the eJSON, like with this type def, how you want to persist and how you want to parse back from the like serializable value to the instantiated value. And with this, like you can use the library that's called Dinero, because BMark is a marketplace, you are selling stuff in a very nice way. Like you don't need to transform the objects manually when you are in the client, when you are in the Mongo. It's just transparent working in all the layers. And it's pretty cool because you don't need to do any transformation. And I really don't know any other way to achieve this unless you are using Meteor with eJSON and DDP. I tried to find another way to do this in the GraphQL world outside Meteor, but I was not able to find it. You always need to instantiate your object manually. And this way it's automatically for you. Again, like from MongoDB to your client, you have all the transformations that you need. In this case, you save the money as the cents in the database, and then in the server, you get the money instance, and then in the client, you also get the money instance. And this saves you a lot of time because you don't need to transform types or get weird errors. Moving away a little bit from the data part and these communications layers, we also have here the PWA. And then Meteor is also capable of providing a PWA for you, and BMark is also a PWA. And we also have the manifest. We have this cool package where you can just define a few fields in your settings JSON from Meteor and just register this startup method, and that's it. You're ready to get your PWA JSON from this URL, or you can even customize. You have advanced options. Then it's a pretty nice way to start using your app as a PWA. You just need to do basically this, and it's ready to work. Also, this PWA is installable on Windows. And again, like BMark is also an app that you can install in the desktop. Then, as I said in the beginning, I'm showing BMark to you to show everything that Meteor can do today. And in this case, we are doing everything in the same application, in the same source code. BMark is also a native app. You know, Meteor has integration with Cordova and also React Native. If you're not aware, check the guide because you have new guides about how to use Meteor with React Native in a very nice way. And you have many people doing this. But in this case, we are using Cordova. And then you have in the App Store, and we also have Meteor delivering this project for you in Google Play. I have a repo that's not fully ready yet, but with a lot of examples on how to do it, how to set up in the store, how to set up your Fastlane script, because then you can deploy these to stores with just one command, and it's pretty cool. I pretend to finish this example. It's in a branch yet, but you can check there. We have a detailed guide, like step by step, how to create your app, like where to click in the store, everything. And then you should be able to do your app with Meteor in the stores, just following this example. Still in the mobile world, because mobile is really important today. We use more our mobile than our desktop if you're not working. Then like we also have support to universal link and to deep link. We also have a package for this. And then you can just get these configurations that you need to provide. That's the Apple Team ID and the Apple Bundle ID. And you also can register these links, and this is going to work. If you don't know where is the universal link, when I click in a link from BMark in my phone, it opens BMark in a specific location. It's not opening just the website, because BMark also has a website. But if the user has the app, it's going to open the app. And how we do this, like it's just an example here, but you do this in a very simple way using a Cordova plugin where you can subscribe. And then when the user click the link, it's going to call this subscribe function. And you can just use like whatever you are using to the routing in your system to redirect the user to the proper place. And this is really important in a marketplace, right? Because if you send a campaign for a specific product, the user should go to this specific page and not for the home of the marketplace. Then this was really important for us. And it's just like a few lines to make it work. We also have push notification that sometimes it's a challenge for people to set up. We also have in the same guide how to set up push notifications step by step, and also to go to a specific location or to do something if the user opened the notification that you can track some metrics. You can also do just with a few lines. Is basically the same idea. You just get the data and then you redirect the user using the same framework that you're using for routing. One more package that we have is for analytics. I think almost everybody's using some kind of analytics, and you can use also Google Tag Manager here or Google Analytics. And then that's the example for React, but you can also load this in the server side if you want. But for React, you just need to initialize it and then using this hook. And this is a cool feature that I would like to introduce you. Like, we just had a new version of the reloader packaging. And I don't know of any other package that is doing what we are doing here. But what you can do with this package, you can control the app update from the hot code push that if you are a Meteor user, you know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, it's when you deploy a new version in the server, the Meteor is going to update your app in the client. And in this way, on Cordova, you can control if you want to reload or not. And why this is really cool, because you can even show a pop-up for the user to decide if it's the right moment to update the app or not. And you can create some custom logics, like here on BMark, we add in the database, like, okay, this version is not really important, then just ignore this version. We don't need to interrupt the user. And then you can create all these custom logics just with a method. And again, like, here's the method call that I show as a promise. Then you can integrate it in any workflow that you have in your app. And then you can have all this working, and you can coordinate when you want to update your app or not. In this case, you get from the database, and then you can just write a migration. Oh, you want to ignore this update, or you want to really do this update? You should check this reloader package because it's pretty cool. I was trying to implement this for like 5 years, but I was not finding the time. And finally, I was able to achieve this. Then if your app is refreshing when you have a new change, you don't need to have this refreshing effect anymore. You can control your app using this package. We also have like some new requirements from Apple, where if you have a social login anywhere in your app, you also need to support Apple login. Then we have packages for this, and they are working, they are in production. And we also have packages to integrate natively with Facebook. And then also, if you need these features, you should check these packages. And this slide, of course, is going to be available, and also this talk. I'm almost finishing, but you can see like BMark has a lot of features, and then that's all. I'm not showing off BMark here. I'm showing off the Meteor power just in one app, how much we can deliver. We also can deliver like multiple domains in the same system, and then Galaxy allows that. And then you can serve a custom page. Like, this is not BMark for the user, but it's BMark in the backend. Then you can serve a multi-tenant app running just one app, and that's money that you're going to save. And Galaxy support multiple domains with SSL, with everything included. And we're almost there. Like, we also have a public API, and this is pretty cool because, as you can imagine, I said that we are using DDP for the GraphQL, but makes no sense to expose an API and requires to everybody to use DDP. Then for this instance of BMark, we are not using DDP. We are using the HTTP link from Apollo, and then you can use externally, just calling with a cur, like in the example here. And then again, same source code, then you are not tied to Meteor. Like, if you want to use the DDP way as you use inside the app, you can, but you can also use the regular HTTP link from Apollo. We also have a REST API because of the printers that have integrations, like this printer, when you make an order and you receive a receipt. We also use the SSR from Meteor to do like custom Google Tag Manager, Open Graph Protocol to have nice previews of your URL. Then everything is also included and using just Meteor resource, nothing else. And going to the final part of this, we also have some like ideas for you that you can inspire to have CI and CD with Meteor. And I'm going to announce some changes about this in the end. And you can deploy your app. You can check everything in your app using SLint Superior, and you can run like fast tests before every comment and also slow tests. And I recommend you to use Jenkins, or at least to learn about it. There is this cool plugin that's called JobDSL that you can do a lot of stuff with it. And we also have Jest running on BMark. Maybe you are just using Mocha or other tools that are more popular in the Meteor world, but Jest is growing a lot, and Jest is also compatible with Meteor. In this case, I'm not using Meteor Runner. I'm just using Jest as a runner, but I can have coverage, as you can see in the image below. And you can also have mocks for Meteor if you need it. And it's pretty cool because you can run this before every commit. Then before every commit of BMark, we make sure all the operations that are dealing with money, they are running correctly and just using Jest. And Jest is pretty light and pretty fast. We also have some packages to do performance audit using Google Lighthouse. And then you can check if your Meteor bundle is growing, if your CSS is growing too much, and you can configure these thresholds. And then it's just going to run in your CI, and it's going to let you know what's going on. You can also use Cypress in the same way. My recommendation here is that you split your tests that run really fast and your tests that are slow. Then you don't need to wait this every commit, because this can take a few minutes because of Google Lighthouse. Then going back a little bit to the architecture of it, like we have just one app code, and that's really important because just one code for you to maintain. We have two apps on Galaxy using different settings because, as I said, one is using the DP link and the other is using HTTP link. And that's important that you have two runtimes, but it's the same source code. And in Meteor 1.11, we introduced this idea of cache build. And when you call the Meteor deploy using the cache build flag, it's going to cache your previous build if the hash of the last commit is the same. And then you don't need to wait 2 times the time to build your app. It will just upload your app and deploy to Galaxy. Then you can save probably half of the time or even more if you have 3, 4, 5 environments, as you know some clients have. Then it's a pretty cool way to solve this problem of deploying the same code to different targets. And we also have the native builds that you deploy to the stores with Fastlane, and we have the instructions in this branch. This is like BMark in production, just in the morning. Because of that, we don't have anybody accessing the API or not much connections. And on Galaxy, we have almost everything that you need. Then you have security, you have outscaling, because we are a marketplace. Then like in the night, we have a lot of orders, but in the mornings, you don't have almost any order. Then you have the SEO with pre-render, you have logs, you have rollback, you have alerts, you have APM, and you also have a high availability. If you look here, you have high availability enabled. Then we are running in multiple availability zones of AWS. Okay, and the architecture, we just need MongoDB, OneSignal, and Postmark as external dependencies, because all the rest is on Galaxy. And this is, Peter was just saying in the other call before that Galaxy is really working really well all the time, and it's really reliable, and it's a nice setup for you, for your production. Some tips about like the code, and then I'm going to close this about developer experience that you have in BMark. Like use dynamic imports everywhere. Like dynamic imports in Meteor for me is the best implementation that I have of dynamic imports. And then you should have it everywhere. And then where you can't, because you want to have this in your initial bundle, you should use nested imports. And that's the way that we are doing in BMark. And you're going to see some numbers later. Nested import also for heavy modules, that if you are importing a library that you know it's heavy, it's better to nested import it. You should also use Meteor methods that are a lot faster to write than Apollo if you want to do some changes. And I'm not using subscriptions here because I don't need live data, but you have a new package with heads up log that's even better than the previous heads up log. That's already a big improvement. Then if you want to have real data, you should rely on Meteor. You should use this package if you need to scale. But definitely for the first year, probably you're not going to need it. But when you need to really scale, you can use RedsUplog, and you can use this new package of RedsUplog as well. And if you are importing files from a library that maybe it's putting everything in the index, you are going to have a problem. But you see this little tree there. It's because I also have some news about it. But right now, in the current Meteor version, if you do in the first way, you're going to import all the library. And if you do in the other way, then you're going to import this file. And I'm going to talk more about this in a second. Okay, to wrap up about Meteor in BMark, we also are running using the exclude arcs. Thank you, Sebastian. I don't know if he's here. Then Sebastian implement this PR where you can exclude the arcs when you are in development. Then you don't need to run the Cordova build or the legacy build all the time. And with this in mind, we have 26 seconds for the first start of BMark with all these features that I just mentioned to you. It's 20 seconds in the build and 3 seconds in the server startup. And when we make a change, it takes 6 seconds if the change is in the server side. And when you're changing the client, that most of our changes are in the client because we are adjusting, it's just like 1.5 seconds. Then it's really, really, really fast. And it's a very nice develop experience. Then maybe, as I'm like very positive about this, maybe I think, okay, but what can be better? And that comes the question, like, what is next? And then I will start now after showing how Meteor can be powerful today, like for 5 companies, and also 2 examples of my own apps. Then I'm going to show you what we are planning for the next months of Meteor and even for the next years. Like the first news that I have is that we are going to have Meteor 2.0. That's the next big version of Meteor, and that's not going to take long. We already have a beta. Then you can check the beta. If you watch the Southern talk about hot module replacement, that is included in this beta. Then if you are using React or Svelte, you should not wait for your client to rebundle anymore. You can just use the hot module replacement, and that's the first feature included in 2.0. You can read more in the forums where Southern explain how you should use it. And I have a little demo here just for you to see, like that's real, that's working. And I'm not using like a fork or whatever. I'm using the Meteor beta 2 of the 2.0. Then that's the video. I hope it was working. Okay, then I will remove the avatar here, like the picture in the left. And you see like the app is just refreshing pretty quickly, maybe like 200 milliseconds or even less than that. Then like, and that's a full app. Everything that I showed you is running right now. Then it's really, really fast with hot module reload. And that's not the best part. Like, okay, it was 1.5 seconds on BMark without hot module reload. Now it's less than a second. As you can see, it's pretty fast. But the best part is that you don't lose the state anymore. Then if I think I'm playing this video right now, then you can see I am in the bottom of the list and I can scroll and I can change and I can return the scroll. As the app is not going to refresh, then you don't lose the state. And in some cases, it's really boring when you need to go back to the same state, because in some cases you need to do like 10 clicks or type a lot of fields in the form. And then this way, as you can see, it's just refreshing without affecting the scroll or the state or anything else. And then it's a very nice work that was done by Southern, and we are supporting it and we are helping it, testing, provide feedback, and you need you to do the same. Because like hot module replacement, it's like a way to interact with your code in development, but you need to test because maybe some use cases that you have are not covered, and then you need your help to provide feedback, and you can follow this PR to read the instructions and to know what is included in the 2.0. And the next thing that I would like to say today is that we are pretty close to introduce the tree shaking also in the beta. Then probably the beta 3 or 4 in the next week, it's going to include tree shaking. And if you don't know what tree shaking is the idea to get your code and try to remove every module that you are not using. And I'm not saying like the dependencies, like just the modules. Then René is working this feature, and it's a very hard work, but he's doing really well. And then we are going to remove all the nodes that you don't use it. And then just a few examples here. Again, real examples with a real project that is BMark. Like in this case, if you use like this, the way that I said is wrong, like import you from the package level, then you get like all the library, like almost 3 megabytes. Then with tree shaking, doing the same way, you get just 33 kilobytes. Then tree shake is able to identify that you are just using one file, even if you are importing from the index, and drop everything else. But as I said, we are not doing this way on BMark because you know this is bad. We are importing the correct file. But before that, let's see the result in the whole project. Then if you had just one wrong import, that would be the benefit that you have. Without tree shaking, your app would have like almost 6 megabytes. This is before gzip, okay? And then if you have just tree shaking, then you can save a ton of data. But in the real case, on BMark, we are doing the imports in the proper way, but with tree shaking, you don't need to worry anymore. But right now, you should be worried if you're not importing the files in the proper way. But with tree shaking, using the imports in the right way, even in this case, and BMark is a very optimized project, we can save like 5% without making any change, just enabling tree shaking. And then that's a nice improvement. I bet that your project is probably going to have more than 5% of reduction, because it's really hard to keep these imports optimized and in the proper way. And tree shaking is really coming. And I think tree shaking and hot module replacement are the two most requested features. And you can see almost every time that people are, oh, but Meteor is not so up to date because we don't have it. Or people are going to say tree shaking or hot module replacement. Then 2.0 is going to solve these two problems. Then, as I said, like gzip will be still applied, then you'll be even smaller than the numbers that I showed you. We also have to announce this, that TypeScript is going to be updated, maybe before the 2.0, because people are asking to include this in a new version of Meteor before 2.0. But the idea with this update is to use the latest TypeScript and also to provide more freedom in the configurations. Because in the past, Benjamin chose to just use like the plain TypeScript without many configurations, like without decorators and metadata reflection. But now we are going to allow this. Of course, these features are on stage 2 on the TC39. Then you need to be careful, because if you use this a lot and the TC39 change the directions because it's in stage 2, it can cause some problems for you. But you want to allow this freedom for advanced users of TypeScript. Then that's the idea. We are hearing what you are saying and you understand the need and you are supporting it. We are also going to update Cordova. I know many of you are running Cordova apps with Meteor, and a lot of users are relying on Meteor because of Cordova. And iOS is very sensitive. Then they have new major versions available. Then we are also going to update. And also, is leading this project to update to Node.js 14. And that's not really needed right now, because Node 12 is still the LTS, and it's going to be for, I think, more 2 years. But if you can go ahead and already starting use Node 14, that's even better. And we already have some stuff working. The Windows build is not working yet, but I don't think it's a problem with Node. It's just a problem with our script to build this new version of Meteor. But is leading this project, and I'm also supporting him, and we are trying to move fast to include this also in the 2.0 release. And also the last one about the 2.0, we are going to try to drop some old stuff. We are not going to cause breaking chains or just some stuff that are really, really, really old, but we have some packages and some things in Meteor that are not used anymore for many years. And then the idea is to try to remove, because then you can reduce the burden of maintaining all this code that are not used at all. And sometimes you want to make a pull request, but you are breaking some code that is not used, then that's not good. We are still discussing what we are going to drop and what are going to not drop, but don't be worried. We are not going to cause breaking chains. The idea here is just to drop what is really, really old. Okay, then don't need to, okay, but that package that I use every day, no, that's not included. This is really old stuff that we have there. I need to drink some tereré here, just a moment, but I have more. One other nice feature that we are going to provide for Meteor users, and I am really excited about it, is push to deploy. Then today, if you want to deploy to Galaxy, you need to have a CI. You need to have a server, at least your machine, and then you need to run the deploy from there. But that will be not the case soon, because you'll be able to integrate it with GitHub, maybe even other providers. Then you can just commit, change, push, and you can see the result on Galaxy. And that will open the door for many other improvements. Maybe you can have some special settings for stage environments, and you can have another whole world to explore and how to make this integration as easy as possible, as fast as possible. Then that's just something that we are going to release very soon, the first version. but it's going to open the door for many other options. I'm sure of that. And then just repeating myself, if you remember, the free deploys are back. Then what these two features together means is that you can just rely basically on the cloud, and then you can just change your code directly on GitHub if it's a simple change, and you can maybe push a button and you can have your free deploy running with Meteor on Galaxy for free. And every time that you make a new change, it's going to update and keep running for free. As I said, the free deploy is going to have some limitations, as you can imagine it. We are going to spend money because we are going to provide the servers and MongoDB. Then we need to have some limitations, but I'm sure that's going to be very good for many use cases that you have. And right now you need to pay $9, then it's going to be free for you. And also, Matt said in his talk earlier today, but you are going to rebrand Meteor in a way that you can group all the solutions that we provide now, and instead to have just Galaxy as a product, we are going to have a unified brand to group together the developer accounts, the atmosphere, the APM, the Galaxy host, and like push to deploy any features that we are going to include. Then it will be like an umbrella brand for all these projects, and you can be sure that Meteor developer accounts are still being free. Of course, we are going to even expand the free offer with the Galaxy hosting, but that's the new brand that we are going to create. And we think this align better with what the market is saying about like the cloud and this movement to not be just hosting. We have a lot of features included on Galaxy, and then that's the positioning that we are going to apply also pretty soon. And we are going to have Meteor Cloud and everywhere, and that's going to be our unified offer of many services inside the Meteor world for you. And one thing that's really, really important about Meteor that I would like to tell you is that we are here for the infinite game. If you never heard this term before, you need to understand like the infinite game is where we don't have winners, we don't have rules. The goal is to keep playing. And what that means in the Meteor perspective, like we are not going anywhere. We are not trying to sell Meteor to a different company. Like Tiny bought Meteor to keep Meteor running for many, many, many years. And that's our goal. That's why I'm here. Like I'm using Meteor for 7 years, and I would like to use Meteor for more 7 years. Then you need to adapt. Then you need to improve. Then you need to have this clouding around our world. That's the definition of the infinite game. There is a nice book from Simon Sinek about it. And there is another book that I don't remember now the author, that you can read more about it. You should apply in your business as well, because we are here for the infinite game. And I think this is a really important mindset, because we know that we have a lot of companies that are just starting, and maybe they are not here for the infinite game. And I'm not thinking about something specifically, but just in general, it's good to rely on a framework to build your business if this framework is really thinking in the long term. And here is like the infinite. It's the bigger long term that you can have, right? And almost wrapping up here, but just keep in mind the infinite game, then you understand what I'm saying here about Meteor 3.0. Then we are about to close the 2.0, at least the scope of it. Then like what is coming for the 3.0? We are discussing about like maybe a CLI to be easier to create an app, or what we are spending time as a community. Like that's what you need to think, like what are you spending time today that you should do better for Meteor 3.0? Then I want your help here. Like what is the boilerplate that you are writing all the time? Or what's the patch that is missing? As I said, like the reloader, I wait like 5 years to sit in a weekend and write a new reloader. Maybe as a group, you can elect like the major problems that we have, and you can solve this together, as we are doing. Like Zodern is doing a great work, and we are also helping him. And also he was reviewing Renault work in the tree shaking, and yeah, he's working in the Node.js upgrade, and Sebastian did the excluded architectures. Like that's the idea of a community. Like we want to work together to improve Meteor together, and that's going to benefit everybody in the ecosystem. And that's the idea. And if you grow also as a business on the Galaxy side with push to deploy, with free deploy, we can also apport more money and to support even more the Meteor development. Then that's the plan. And if you are new to Meteor, maybe this talk is too confusing to you because you don't know what I'm talking about. My recommendation for you, you should first go to the React tutorial And there you have a step-by-step from the creation step to the end until to deploy. Then your app will be ready and in production. We also have tutorials that are very new for Vue, for Svelte, and for Blaze. We also have docs, we have the guide, we have the Galaxy guide. The Galaxy guide has a lot of content about Galaxy, but it's about Meteor in general, because Galaxy is a host just for Meteor. Then if you want to learn more about the servers and this part of Meteor, you should also read the Galaxy guide, even if you're not using Galaxy for your app. But you should, but if you're not, you should read at least the guide. We also have ways for you to keep up to date. Twitter, of course, is our main source of communication, but we also have the monthly podcast. We also have the forums, and we also have the Meteor blog. At least these 3 locations, you should check at least once a week, because we are going to post the most important things there. And I have a shameless plug, as the Syntax FM says, with Scott and Wes Boss. I have a shameless plug to do here, because I'm just starting a new project that's called How to Create an App. It's a YouTube channel. It's going to also be a website. And the idea is to show for everybody how I'm creating my apps. And as you know, I am Meteor evangelist, because I'm using Meteor for 7 years. And I really believe in Meteor. Then the idea with this channel is to show how I create my apps. And by consequence, I'm going to show Meteor, because I'm using Meteor to create my apps. Then all this content that you saw in the BMark presentation part, I'm going to publish there with videos, with explanations, with text. Then, of course, it's going to take time to have all this ready and available, but I'm releasing a new video every day. Like today, like 4 hours ago, one new video was available. And the first series that I'm working is the series that I'm creating the platform for you to learn in the how to create an app. Then I'm pretty excited about this project. We already have maybe 10 videos there. We have 3 recorded lives, one about GraphQL, another about native, and another about PWA. Then you should check out this channel. I don't have a nice name yet for the channel in the URL, because I need to have 100 subscribers. I'm almost there. I hope today I reach 100 subscribers, then I can rename the URL. And if you want to help, you should join the community Slack. We have a lot of cool people there. You should promote Meteor. Like sometimes I see like people doing a lot of great stuff and they show to me, but they should publish in the blog. They should post on DevTool. They should post in a public spot. Also GitHub, like you can triage issues, you can review and submit PRs. We have a lot of people doing this, and this is great. We are always reviewing the PRs as fast as possible, provide feedback, try to merge, try to understand the need. Also the docs and the tutorials, like the tutorials, I propose a new format for the React tutorial, and we have new tutorials to migrate to this new format. And you should check it out. We have a channel inside our community Slack just for the tutorials. And then it's really important that you have this up to date so you can attract new developers to the Meteor platform that you love. And I am not forgetting about the question that I did. I don't know if you already replied. Let me see. Maybe I'm going to have a spoiler here. Okay, let's see where I see the polls. I need to click here. Oh, I need to vote. Oh, let me vote. Oh, people are really smart. Yes, you're right. Like you have a Go service to make the deploy. And let me go back here. Yeah, you're right. We have a Go service that's called Galaxy Deploy, and then it's doing the Galaxy Deploy without Galaxy. It's a little bit weird, but it works. Then that's the way you can start a new, we call stack. Every region that you call in AWS, it's called region. On Galaxy, you call stack. And then every stack, the first deploy, we have a Go service that you deploy this. And not because the Galaxy is not enough, it's because the Galaxy is not there yet. Then it's impossible to use Galaxy, to deploy Galaxy the first time. That was what I have to announce. I think we still have 5 minutes for questions, but tomorrow, I think in the morning, at least my time, but you can check the schedule. We are going to have a 30 minutes to just ask questions because I was expecting to not have enough time here. Then you can ask about push deploy. You can ask about the free deploy. You can ask about all the features that I showed you that I'm using from Meteor in my projects, and also about the companies that are doing very well with Meteor. And again, please subscribe to this channel, share with your friends that are learning to code. And even if you're not learning to code, I'm sure you're going to learn a lot. in these lessons because I'm a programmer for like 14 years and I have a lot of background for Java, and then I can compare it, then I can provide some insights for you. Then thanks for listening, and I hope this was helpful, and I hope you are really excited about the free deploy that's coming and also the push to deploy. And there is much more to come. Like remember, now we are going to have a cloud brand around Meteor, and this brand we are going to plug a lot of new cool features inside it. See you, and let's see if you have questions. Okay, let me drag this. Very, very excited. I have no idea what is goat like this, but I hope it's a good thing. I think it's a goat, a cabra in Portuguese. Subscribe. We need more. Thank you. Yeah. Do you have any questions? If you can help me. I don't think you have questions, right? No. You don't have any questions? If you don't have any questions, please, like tomorrow, let me show here my screen. Then you can check the time. I am less for UTC. Now we are going to have this talk with Bart. I really recommend that you watch this talk. Of course, Scott Tolinsky, I don't need to say it, but let me see what time is my meet tomorrow. Morning tea. Oh, I'm lost here. I think it's 6:30 in my time. Oh, here. Philippe Impact Area. It's 6:30 my time. My time is less for UTC. Then you should check it out. And you can talk tomorrow as well. But let's see if you have questions now. Let me go to my agenda. Okay, subscribe. Okay, I think you don't have any questions. I don't know if it's good or bad, or you have in the polls. Will Meteor package be recorded integrally using TypeScript recoded? I think you are asking like the Meteor tools, right? We are going to try to migrate some parts, but you don't believe you need to migrate everything. Like that, some parts make sense, like we already have for the import scanner, but I don't think we are going to rewrite everything using TypeScript. But like that depends more on the community than me, but I don't think it's worth the effort to just migrate for the sake of migrate. But if you see some really benefits, you should write in a PR or in an issue and you can discuss about it. Discuss first, don't invest time before understand it. Tree shaking is not a binary thing. Different compilers with tree shaking, parser wrapper producing vastly different bundle size. How hard does Meteor shake the tree compared to this other bundle? Like we are just releasing the first version, then it's not easy to respond this at the moment, but I know for sure that Rena is putting a lot of time on this. I'm also reviewing his work all the time. Then I'm sure that's going to be really good. But it's hard right now. It's just like a guess because we need to test in real production apps. But and you're right, like tree shaking is, you can run tree shaking many times in the same code, but of course it's going to take more time to finish it. Then we need to find the right balance, but that's why you are going to have this beta. Then you can return to us and you can explain how is your use case and you can try to improve even more. Reload message, there are more questions. Okay. We are running out of time. I'm always available in Slack, by the way. Then if you go to the community Slack, you can always talk to me. I'm going to upload my PDF here as well. Will Meteor core be migrated to TypeScript? I already replied this. Would you choose GraphQL for a new? That depends. Like you watch my channel, you see like in the how to create an app platform, I'm not using GraphQL. I'm using Meteor methods. Then it's really a choice, and like subscriptions, you can scale a lot with Red's uplog. Then it's not an easy decision, but I'm using GraphQL in some projects and Meteor methods in another. If anyone is aware, you can use types Meteor to get. Why Galaxy is locked with pre-render? Would be alternative option. Yeah, we could have any option, but you can set up whatever SEO you want. For pre-render, you pay for you. Like you're not going to pay any money to pre-render. We are paying pre-render and you offer this included in our plans, but you pay, it's not free for us. But I don't know if you're having issues with pre-render, but if you are, please open a ticket, just send to support Meteor.com, and we are going to help you. Yes, you can use TypeScript today for a new Meteor app. The improvement that I said is that you are going to use decorators and also metadata data reflection, so you can use other features, but the TypeScript is already working, and you have a -- TypeScript in the Meteor crate. Then you can create a TypeScript project with React and just start to use it. It's up to date and it's working. Okay, Dimitri is asking if Meteor is actively hiring. We just hired like 2 or 3 months ago, Renan, and you announced this position in the forums. We had a few candidates, and Renan was the best fit at the time. But if you want to work, I don't remember like who already tried this position or not. But if you want to work with us, like send us an email, try to explain why you would be a good fit. But of course, as I said, if you can grow this platform, if you can grow Galaxy, we are going to hire, we are going to grow the team. And that's the plan. The plan is to be here for a very long time. Okay, I still need 5 subscribers, but I'm going to finish this. We talk tomorrow. We can have more questions tomorrow because I don't want to mess with the presentation from Bart, because I know he's doing a lot of good work with Meteor, and you should check it out the next session. Thank you guys. Sorry if I was too fast, but I had a lot of things to tell you. Thank you. Bye-bye.